Hey YouTube. Okay, so today, week 3, is actually going to be big because I actually think I figured out what was wrong with my camera. We're recording longer videos. We'll get to the longer videos soon. But plus we got new segments today. I'm actually rearranging things down. We got new segments today and of course some of the classic ones still. But I'm trying to actually condense some of the videos, so you might see some of the segments in the playlist and couple playlists. As well as I'd like to apologize for missing last week. I had to work, and that didn't configure into my plans. So anyways, enough of that. It's time for our books thing. I like doing the books, and it's a good exchange. And today I am going to talk about a series that I hate to admit I am not caught up on. But I have the first 2 books here, and I'm going to actually really suggest these because, again, you can tell which books were my favorite when I was a kid. And as I said, when I was a kid, so if you could tell, I was an avid reader growing up and didn't know age appropriateness because this book actually should not be read by a kid. I think I read my first sex scene in this book at way too young. But anyways, enough of that. What this book is, if you can't tell from the torn up pages, maybe you can tell from the title page. Relic. Relic is a book by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. It's actually one of the major examples of times I actually nerd raged at a movie because the movie's location, and that doesn't make a lot of sense if you just read this, like, oh, so they switch it from New York to Chicago. But that makes this book impossible. The sequel, as well as like the 7 books that come after that I have yet to read. And I'm doing a review on a series that I have yet to fully read. Relic and Reliquary are part of a saga called the Pendergast Saga, which I think that's hilarious. I have a friend in elementary school whose last name is Pendergast, so when I was reading the books when I was a kid, I was always picturing my friend in those scenarios. But basically, the first 2 books take place in a museum. The first book specifically, they get this idol. They're going to do this whole thing on mythology, like curses and mythology and stuff. And the idol has this huge curse on it where it brings death. And all of a sudden you start seeing these mass murders where their brains are being scooped out, parts of it eaten, and it's this, and it's presumed to be this monster that is being followed around in the museum by the police. It's kind of a horror science fiction kind of theme, but honestly, it plays out more like a standard detective book, and that's what's great about the series. Especially when you get to the sequel. I'm serious, this book was phenomenal. Um, I read this like shortly after I read this, but I probably read this one like, I don't know, at least 10 times when I was a kid. And this one I've read like 2 or 3 times. There's a book that came in the middle that is not officially part of the series, but is the author pairing called Dragon Mountain, which is extremely good. My copy of that's actually newer, so it's now torn up. I borrowed my copy for that from the library originally. Um, but describe how the writings in these writers actually do a lot of non-fiction writing, and actually have interesting ways of doing research. I think it was, I might be wrong, it might have been Douglas Preston, but I think it was Lincoln Child. No, it was Douglas Preston, I think, who did a book on the actual mole people of New York, the underground homeless. And he went to live with them for a while to actually research them. And he was actually researching them for this book here, because they're a heavy feature in the book, and lived with them to get them realistically. It was one of the 2 authors. If I am having the wrong author, I'm sorry for all of you fans out there who actually read it. Um, but he actually did a book called The Mole People, where it was his experiences underground through a factual view, and it was. I read this. I read that, read it again in high school, and I read that in high school, and it was. Sorry, my cats are being ornery. Um, it blew my mind. Like, I picked up these books and I read them, and it blew my mind that these people actually went through that. Because, I live in small town Michigan, down southwest Michigan, and the fact that there's these people who live underground like that, with subway tunnels and whatnot, it boggled my mind how you could live that way. It's like, even still today, I go to Chicago, and I go to Chicago regularly for my doctor's appointments, and I'll pass by and see homeless people begging for money. I lose at least $30, $40 every time I go down, because I'm a sucker. It's like, if I see someone and I have the money, I feel really, really bad. I definitely give it to them because I'm at least making ends meet somewhat. You actually can see my cat this time. Yay! I'm and so I'm a sucker for that, and it still boggles my mind that people can live this way and that there's no recourse, I guess I could say. So I have to actually thank these books for actually giving me a social lesson on that, because it's like, if it wasn't for these, I would have never actually realized, you know, that that early. Yeah, honestly, I think that was part of me growing into being more of a compassionate person. I hope, you know, and I think that's one of the things these books did good, especially this one. I'm not going to spoil the ending. You have to read this one first. But this one has a really good surprise ending, and there are like two more trilogies and another single book in the series at least. I check out the Pendergast Saga by Douglas Preston, Lincoln Child, and trust me, you will not regret it. It is fun.